Hello, fellow gamers. I'm Gloryhound, and this is my lovely Kickstarter partner, Dr. Gloryhogg.
You almost forgot. You were like, I don't remember what to call this guy.
No, I always know what to call you.
That
My lovely husband.
That was a really weird pause. That was a really long pause. Sounded dicey.
No, it was not dicey at all. It's fine. It's fine. My lovely husband, Dr. Gloryhogg.
Yeah, that's not what she calls me around the house.
And hello to our chat today. It looks like we have Nosferatu Clown in chat. We have Jolly Lumpy. We have Kabuki Kid.
Battle Cry.
Battle Cry is in chat. How are all of you doing? We're super excited to be talking about Kickstarters today because we missed it, last week?
Right, and the week before.
And the week before, too, really. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So we need to catch up on everything here, okay?
There's been a lot of good Kickstarters out right now, too, because there was a good 7 that I was really, really tempted to put on the overall list. And
yeah.
I kind of whittled it down to this 4, and mostly this 4 won out because they're all ending within like 5 days.
Okay, so these are just the ones that are ending the fastest.
Well, they're right. They're part of the 7, but yeah, they're all ending in the next like 5 days.
It's like, I feel like you have some sort of like advanced co-op team here. They're part of the 7.
They're part of the 7.
That's the last of the 5.
It's an elite squad.
The elite
part of the
squad.
7. Who's left after the last firefight.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry, everyone. I'm usually more prepared than that. I don't know what happened to my screen. I don't know what happened to my screen. Okay.
Weird windows.
First up here. Oh, do we have any announcements or anything?
No. If we had announcements, I feel like we would have talked about that ahead of time.
If you're new to the channel, make sure to give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe. We love all of you in chat.
This is not a how to back. This is should you back.
This is a should you back.
There are plenty of videos out there that tell you how to back.
This is
telling you if we're going to back.
All of you, we love your comments. We want to know what you're backing, what you're interested in about these. Like, this is a conversational piece here if you're new to this channel,
I really need to know what you're backing so I know what's going to the Not a Compound, so I don't have to buy a copy myself.
Not a compound when we all get together and play games when we're real old, okay? So, first up, we have Seas of Havoc. This is by Rock Manor Games. It's for 1 to 5 players. It should last about 60 minutes.
This has the best song, too. It's like really close to shipping up to Boston.
It's like a shanty. It's
close to shipping up to Boston, like from Dropkick Murphy. So I was like jamming for a little bit there.
All right, hold on. I remember listening to it, but I don't remember it being like that.
That's the vibes I got.
No, it just sounds like a sea shanty sort of thing.
You're a sea shanty.
Whatever. Hopefully I didn't blow everybody's ears.
Seas of Havoc is a naval combat game that puts you in command of your ship using a deck of cards.
Shipping up to Boston tours. I mean, but music is music, right? There's only so many notes.
When it gets into like the basic, like,
yeah,
when they're talking about it, I can see that.
There's only so many notes in the world, right?
The 4 of the 7, which was the 3 of the 2, actually, Jolly Lumpy, okay? Yeah, the doctor was touching my PC. That's why everything's messed up on here. So, this game, you're going to be, maneuvering your ship across the waters.
Yeah,
you're going to be collecting the stuffs. You're going to be shooting down other ships. You're going to be battling sea monsters.
It's got some deck building to it.
Going to be getting some fat loot.
Building up your captain and crew.
Going to be looking at that big old boat.
This one, for me, feels like something that you would really enjoy because look at the tactical cards on that, right?
It has Onitama-style tactics.
Yeah, that kind of chess-style movement that I'm going to play this card so I can move this way to do this action type of thing, which I think you're really a big fan of that.
I love, love, love games that have that sort of tactical card play where you put down a card and then those are the movements that you're going to be doing. Then you have to base your movements off of those cards and everything and maneuver around the board. I really love that.
I think it's tougher for me because I like to react based off what you do. So if you did something, then I want to then play a card. Like, oh, you did this? Well, then I'm going to do this. So I like that kind of gameplay more than like having a plan. Because let's be honest, I don't do real good with plans. I don't really make them. I don't follow them.
I make the plans and you enact the plans.
I'm assuming there are plans out there that I've done on accident just because.
Accidental plans?
But yeah, generally I don't make plans.
Was that from part of the 5? Did you make a plan for those?
I made a plan for the 5, and unfortunately 4 made it of the 7. So that's why I don't make plans anymore.
I love the pirate theme, says Kabuki here. So apparently this game here won the Canadian Design Awards back in 2016 and Cardboard Edison back in 2016 as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
2016 seems so long ago.
It was like,
for board games.
6 years ago or something? That was a while ago. This is Rock Manor Games, though. So they've, in the meantime, they did like, the Maximum Apocalypse.
Yeah.
They've done more Maximum Apocalypse. They've done a couple other games in the meantime that we've actually covered too. Like Lawyer Up was one of them. They did The Few and the Cursed, or The Cursed and the Few, however that title goes. So they've done some games in between. They must have like shelved this one for those.
Maybe, right? I mean, they would have had to, right?
Just didn't finish it out or something.
So Nosferatu said, looks cool. I like the cannon loading thingy. I want to shoot more stuff. I want to shoot stuff more often in games. Who doesn't, right? And Kabuki says, I was mildly disappointed that the new Libertalia went from standard pirate theme to the anthropomorphic fantasy flying pirates. Yeah, pirate-themed games are popular. Like, I don't know why you would go like to the flying airship sort of thing.
I mean, because that can also be just as popular. Because
just set themselves apart, maybe? I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know.
Because sometimes when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's another pirate game per se, and you have to figure out like what makes it different.
Yeah.
Which I think there was a lot of pirate games recently over the last, like last year, I think it had a huge pirate theme. I don't know if it's because everybody wants to overthrow the government or what, but there was a big pirate theme. So this one coming in now feels like it's kind of coming in on the tail end of the pirate wave, if you will.
I like the free Sea Monster expansion for all Kickstarter backers for the core game. 100%. This part right here, I just want the sea monsters. I want to go and be a pirate captain and do some looting, but then I really just want to murderize sea monsters in the ocean. That's my main goal as a pirate, is to murderize the sea monsters in any game.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I feel like I just want everybody
else's
goal.
What's that over there? They're like, it's a whale, it's a giant whale. And you're like, no, that's just a ship. And there's like, no, we're going to go get it.
Like the time of pirates, right, was a really interesting time because they're like, I've got a ship full of gold and I'm just going to sail it for days and days and days. Like, that was the time to just steal. That was the time to be a thief. If you ever wanted to be a thief, that was the time. Because they were just like, here's these slow barges just going along, and you're like, that's my gold now. That was really the time. And I feel like I missed out on that opportunity.
Hey, man, Fantasy Steampunk Pirates worked out for Stardust with Robert De Niro.
Well, we played, I should say recently, but Windward had that kind of flying pirate type of situation with flying ships and space whales.
Yeah, but like that seemed, even though that game has this flying airship sort of thing with the fantasy whales, flying whales, it still felt more piratey because like the only thing that was really different was just your ship was in the air.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So they need more space whales is what you're saying. Space whales!
Doctor, what do you think?
The anthropomorphic animals is what threw Kabuki Kid off. So it was like tailspin. You don't want balloons flying your space
That's
ship.
trouble.
Gotcha.
Doctor, what are your thoughts on this game?
This one's interesting. I typically like Rock Manor games. I like the way the boards are set up. Like the actual player boards are done. The wooden minis are fine. Overall, I think the only thing that throws me off is that it's going to be a very heavy tactical game as far as maneuvering your pirate ship, and I don't think I will enjoy that as much.
As much as me.
Oh yeah, for sure. You definitely enjoy that a lot more than I do. I get frustrated sometimes in those types of games just because I get thwarted, and I don't like being thwarted. I like just being the biggest ship on the... I like just being the biggest ship and raiding people. That's just the reality, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Nosferatu says Deluxe Edition comes with magical scurvy. That's freaking hilarious. Yeah, nobody wants magical scurvy, okay? You gotta eat your mystical fruits.
In this type of game, I want to just be the Kraken.
I know, right? See, this is the part that I'm down for right here, which is the free expansion.
But I don't think you get to be the Kraken. I'm pretty sure you're fighting against it.
I want to fight all the sea monsters.
You just want to be the Kraken against like 4 other pirates. It's always with you. You always just want to be like the main bad guy for everything.
Can we do this as a one versus many, and I'll just be the Kraken, and all of you can try to gang up on me? So this game, whenever I was first looking at it, Doctor, I was really, really intrigued by it. I really liked the movement in this, excited about the theme and everything, excited about these monsters. But then really the only thing that's kind of holding me back in backing this particular game here is the price, actually. So this is a $65 game to get started in this, and $89 for
the
deluxe edition here.
It's not that uncommon with how much games cost nowadays. I think there's going to be a huge shift. I think the games that used to be 40 are going to be 60 now. I just think that that's just going to be the reality.
I don't want that.
I think with the way shipping is gone and everything else, I just think a lot of the games that we were used to seeing below 50 are going to be just slightly above 50 now.
Which, as a note, if you want more information on all of the shipping stuff that's happening on Kickstarter, Extra Credits actually just did a video. Then it was Eddie Webb, the maker of Pugmire. He did like a fantastic thing about like all the things that are going into this whole shipping dilemma and paper and cardboard and why everything's costing more and like all sorts of stuff. So, like,
I need you to be the Kraken.
I can be the Kraken. I can be the Kraken. That's how you get ahead in life. You got to be the Kraken. Okay, you got to cracken that whip. No.
Oh, I'm so done with you. We're like 10 minutes in and I'm already just done. I'm exhausted by you right now.
Here's the thing, like,
ridiculous
if
puns.
we haven't done like a Kickstarter show in a while,
save 'em
it's
up?
extra silly because, I don't know, I get excited or something. I don't know what it is, everyone. I apologize. I can't help myself, okay?
You stick to being serious. I'll do the jokes. Thank you.
Oh, Studi Lanniston says, I was trying to remember when Tiny Epic Pirates delivered. Think it was the beginning of 2021.
I don't know if it was the beginning of 2021. It was definitely, it was last year.
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of 2021. I think so.
I don't know. I mean,
I liked Tiny Epic Pirates.
Time has been such a mess over the last years. I have no idea what stuff happens.
Tiny Epic Pirates was more about collecting things in your game and then using those things. Yeah, pick up and deliver.
And Rondell style.
Yeah.
Where this is more of a tactical movement of your ship.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, David. How are you doing? So, absolutely. They're completely different games in that hemisphere. And like I said, I'm really interested in this game. I'm just not as excited about the pricing in it. I wish it was $20 less expensive. Ooh, I can play on Tabletopia. And on Tabletop Sim? Hold on, I'm writing this down, everyone. I don't know why I didn't see that before.
So yeah, you can check it out ahead of time, which is always nice. Yeah, I don't know. For me, this one isn't a complete win. With this week, I could back any of the 4 and be pretty happy. But since there are 4 that I'm pretty happy with, I'm being really nitpicky and deciding the one that I think that I really want the most.
Okay, so you're just being super nitpicky with it then.
Yeah, because, like I said, you could back any of them, but they're all going to be $60 to $100 and something. So, like, I only really want to back one of them. I don't want to back, like, every single one of them.
Here's the other thing that I'm thinking myself, is that this won awards back in, what did I say, 2016 or something like that? How much have board games evolved since then? That, like, is this going to be something that's going to be more, like, up-to-date in mechanics and everything? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to scale well with the years? Because not every game does, you know? So I think for me, this one here is a try before I buy, which luckily it is on Tabletopia and Tabletop Sim, which I will absolutely do because I feel like the price tag for this game, I'm really going to have to figure out if this is something that I would like to play because of the larger price tag.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of right on the fence with it, too. So I'm very distracted by my puppy. He's under there trying to bite my toes.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's under there biting my feet.
Where's he at? Did you get him?
No, he's like...
No, he's murdering a stuffy down there.
He's just far enough away that I can't get him.
We'll pick him up. So, chat, what are your thoughts? Are you backing this game? I'm really curious. Overall,
it sounds like a lot of people are just tapped out from Marvel Zombies, though.
Right?
Which, I mean, to be fair, it was a very expensive game.
What else? I was going to say something else. What was it?
There's no way to know. Oh, I tried to lure him with a toy, and he just left.
Yeah. I want to know who all is backing this, because we love Rock Manor games. That's what it was. We love Rock Manor games. Just in general. They make good games, and I don't think they get enough dues for what they do have out there. So, puppy. All right, hold on.
This is the pupper.
We need a pupper close-up. Say hello to the internets. Say, hi, everyone. Hi, I'm a cute pupper. Oh, my gosh. That's going to be my new
This is
new
Wyatt
co-host.
Danger Noodle. This is your new co-host. I'm out. That's it. It didn't take long. I am out.
Kabuki says, I do like the looks of this. Right, Kabuki? I feel like you and me have a bit similar game taste. Maybe not exact, but definitely
I think I'm just more excited about another game in the lineup this week. So I think that's something that's really holding me back.
Battlecry is passing. Jolly Lumpy says, sorry, not backing. Okay. Nosferatu says, see nothing new implemented to make me want to back it, but I think it'll be fun.
Vampire Pirates. Yeah. That's what we need is Vampire Pirates, and that would really just nail it.
Vampire Pirates. I would play that game.
Thank you, Richard. It's a very good dog, but we made a mistake. So he's a Border Terrier Yorkie mix, and we realized that his mix name would be a Borky. And he is very loud.
He does the bork.
He does bork a lot.
Studio Lanniston says, not for me. Well,
the dog or the game?
I'm going to have to play this. I'm going to have to play the game, everyone. I'm really curious about
That's fair.
it, okay?
We've got a lot of really big thematic games on our table, too. So I think that also plays into it, where I feel like I need a game that has like a lot of theme into it right now. If it's going to lead out. Because I need a lot of excitement, because our time to play games has diminished significantly with everything that's going on.
Isn't that something, too? It's like, right now, I have like... So, okay, here's an interesting thing to discuss. Sorry, we're going to take a quick pause here.
I want to play games so badly.
So, especially with recording and all of you following us online and having these Kickstarter, we've been doing the Kickstarter show for many years now.
Right.
And so it's interesting to see how our tastes have gone and fluctuated, and then with the pandemic, and then with like life circumstances and the style of games that we like.
Two-player games, and then we went heavier into like the miniature games. And then there was a period of time where I was all about 4X games, where all I wanted was 4X games.
We just backed the heck out of 4X games because Doctor was like, it's the answer to everything.
Yeah. And then they started showing up, and I played some of them.
And then you're like, I do not like 4X games, says Doctor.
No, I do. I still do. I don't like all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see what we gravitate and the taste, and we can go back and look at all of these shows.
And even weekly it changes. Like sometimes you almost want to go back and be like, man, I should have backed that one, because that... It's hard because you can't get it right now. Because like I know out of all these games, there's one that I'd play right now versus the other ones that would take just longer. I feel like they'd sit on the table longer before I get to them. So there's one I'm really excited about, and then the rest are just kind of like, oh, it'd be cool, but I don't know where they fit in our category of games too, because we have a lot of games.
And chat, I'm wondering if you all at home have had the same sort of feelings as we're going through this like roller coaster ride of Kickstarters and going through the pandemic and stuff.
Because there's that period we had no games.
Right.
And so then we were backing stuff, and then they all came, and now I'm like, oh gosh, I have a lot of games. And now I'm like,
I have to play certain ones, and then you really get to decide, okay, well, which ones am I most excited about? Because you only have so much time to play those games and stuff.
Batman the Animated Series. Then there's Car Wars. Then we have the U game, Unsettled.
We have a lot of really
Nemesis
good stuff
is on our
sitting
table.
there.
Nemesis
I have not
Lockup.
had a chance to read the rules.
It's a lot. Uprising is on our table, and what's the other one? Merchants of the Dark Cope, Dark Shadow, Merchants of the Dark Road.
So and
all those are on our table. I don't even know which one to get to first. The only advantage is that we played Merchants of the Dark Road before when it was a prototype, and then we've also played Uprising when it was a prototype.
So I can see that as a 4-player game versus at Nosferatu Clan. So let's see here. Dale, the casual gamer, says, funny path how us board gamers go as new games come out and changes in types.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It definitely does, because at one point in time I was all about Red Dragon Inn and Smash Up, and I loved it. Loved it. And now, like, I'd play them, but I don't think I would own them in my collection.
Here's the thing. So as of right now, Doctor, I want to know what your taste is gravitating towards, because like you said, when you first got into board games, that was like your bread and butter. It was like your Red Dragon Inn, your Smash Up and stuff.
Right. Fast,
King of Tokyo.
30-minute games.
And your tastes have evolved and changed as you go. So what are you most excited about before we like continue this list? Because that can skew what we're backing, because, you know, you're going to back what you like.
So I still really like deck builders. I like things where I can make a combo. So like a deck builder or some type of engine building game. And then I also like games I feel that have like a really good narrative or thematic hook to it, like why you're doing the thing,
because
right?
I feel
like Nemesis Lockdown could be any other horror game, and I wouldn't like it as much as I do, because it's got like some really cool story behind it where I'm like, oh man, they're like out in space and all this stuff is happening. If that was just like an outpost on Earth, I would be like less excited about, I guess.
So let's see here. Studio Lanniston says, I got a bunch of games in, but my group evaporated, and they were who I considered for many of my backing choices. Right. That makes changes as well. So here's something that I feel like I've noticed, especially because of the pandemic and everything. I feel like coming out of the pandemic, we've been looking for more games that are heavy with their narrative and kind of the world built around them, because I feel like maybe we're looking for that escape as well. Like, we're not just looking for the puzzle to solve or the game to play. We're looking for like the escape of what is the narrative of the game and where it's going to bring me.
Right,
and
we
the
want more than just the puzzle.
It's going to bring.
That's a good point. Because before, you really like puzzles, and it was just like, oh, a game to play for puzzles good. Now like we need a good reason to play the game. Right. Because there are so many too.
Right. So let's see here. Solo or 2-player games are my favorite now, and a lot of games are in shelves until better times. Absolutely, Studio Lanniston. And we've played a lot of the 2-player and solo games as well. So, like, we've gravitated more so towards those things because of that, you know?
So we haven't played those yet for Nemesis. Nemesis Lockdown will be our first foray into Nemesis.
Absolutely. But we have it on the table, and it's probably going to be the first game that I'm going to dig into and read. So yeah, I'm hoping to get it to the table very, very soon.
I've almost got Uprising on the table once or twice just because like we have played it, so I feel like it'll be remembering versus trying to learn it brand new.
The stream is now Kitty certified. It's been done. She's christened the stream, everyone.
Your other partner.
Okay, so Nosferatu says, during COVID, I was like, oh, a card game. Now I'm getting more picky. Bye, Kabuki. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. So I kind of wanted, though, to go through that we are leaning more towards narratives in games, and I feel like that is because coming out of COVID, we are longing for some sort of escape or some sort of extra excitement.
Well, and our gaming group changed too, because
something.
Before our gaming group was like Greg and Game Boy Geek, and so they're a little bit more Euro focused. So just a puzzle is fine for them. They just want to play. Yeah. They want to play a tight puzzle game. Basically, is what they really gravitate towards, right? Where I think you and I, since it's been mostly just us playing, we're like, okay, well, let's get into a Pandemic Legacy. Let's get into a Tainted Grail. Let's get into these longer narrative chapter type games where we didn't play those before because our game group would get together, we'd play 3 or 4 games, and then we'd move on.
Absolutely.
Where now we're like, oh, it's just going to be you and I. We might as well play a bunch.
All right. Next up, Doctor, we have Wreckland Run. So this is by Renegade Games, and this is a solo game. This is by Scott Alms, who has done all of the time, well, like a ton of Tiny Epic series games.
Take him out front.
He's also done Warp's Edge, which was also Renegade's solo game, and this is part of their
solo hero series.
Yeah,
right?
This is part of their solo series of games. So this is a series of games that they're specifically making for solo gamers, which I think is really interesting. Let's see here. Oh, so one of my surprisingly fun narrative puzzle games was The Initiative. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, didn't we have that at one point? Did we have that on our table? I don't remember.
No, we haven't.
I don't remember.
We have not played that one.
I'm going to have to try that one. But this one here, Doctor, do you want to talk about this one a little bit?
Yeah, so this one is a dice placement game, essentially. So you are in a post-apocalyptic world. You pick your driver. You pick your car. There's like at least 4 different cars. There's at least 4 different drivers, I want to say. It's a 7-chapter narrative where it gives you a little bit of a story, a little bit of why you're fighting, who you're fighting. You get to build. You start off by building upgrades and repairing your vehicle if you need to. So you roll dice for that. And you go, okay, well, this one needs 3 of a kind. This one needs 2 pairs. This one needs, a small straight. And then that's how you're like, you do that with your dice. And then you're like, okay, anytime you roll the red dice, you can use them to also help upgrade your stuff, right? But then you also have to roll on like the boss chart for that. So then like bad stuff can happen to you too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those push your luck type of mechanics are in it. And that's just for upgrading. And then you go into the actual fight. And then you take turns essentially rolling or placing a red die on either a bad guy or on the boss chart, or by placing one of your white die onto one of your actual vehicles or one of your upgrades and then using them. So if you want to use your flamethrower, you have to roll the right dice and everything like that. So although it's dice heavy, it's dice placement, not just rolling dice and then praying. It is definitely a dice placement game because you can discard scrap or you can discard a card in order to re-roll dice. There are something so closer to like a dice throne than just like a regular Yahtzee. I roll them once and hope for the best, I guess.
Okay, so this is interesting. So Nosferatu says, feels selfish wanting a solo game. So mentally to me, it's rude to want it. That I can understand that. But here's the thing. Doctor and I have played solo games together
yeah, we still play
on
them together.
Stream.
And if you watch Tantrum House, they did technically play it together too.
Yeah.
Because one of them was more running the game, kind of, who learned it probably better than the person who was actually playing it.
Absolutely. So I feel like although some of these solo games have come out, like we've done Final Girl on stream and
we did Ratcatcher that too.
Ratcatcher on stream. You can still actually enjoy that with 2 people. Just know that you have one person that is not, I guess, like playing through the game necessarily.
Right. One person's making the choices for the hero, and one person's kind of
mitigating what's happening for like the bad guy's side, right?
Right. Kind of like playing the bad guy, if you will, but on a much smaller scale.
Right.
You're more there for the ride.
But I have to say, it's always fun to play the game with you because I like seeing like the outcome of what's what happens to you, you know?
Right. I think what we've really enjoyed is like you playing it or me playing it first and then switching roles and then seeing what the other person did and how they handled it. Because I play very differently than you. I'm very high risk, high reward, where you're very methodical, like going around and like making calculations where I'm like, roll the dice. Woo!
It almost becomes like an arcade game where you try to beat somebody else's score, you know? So like, you know, okay, that person did this and I'm going to try to do better. And you just like sit waiting and watching and you're like, are they going to get wrecked? Like, what's going to happen? So like, I've really enjoyed playing my solo games with you. Okay, honestly, fair. Like I've played them solo and I've played them without you, and I feel like I have more fun playing my solo game with you because I have someone to talk to.
I am a huge asset in everything.
You are a huge asset in all things, Doctor. Yes.
Asset.
Yeah, very much the ass part.
A-S-S-E-T. Yeah. Making sure that's clear for everybody who's keeping score at home. Yeah, so this one, I like the apocalyptic theme.
Yes, me too.
We loved Radlands. We love Borderlands. Yes. We love those types of themes. We love Wasteland Express Delivery Service. I think I said that title right. It's a kind of a long one. And I was just called Wasteland Express. So we like those types of games. I like that this has 7 chapters, so you're kind of going through it and like trying to actually do certain chapters. So I feel like that'll make it more fun.
Yes, right?
Because there are little envelopes that you open up and it kind of changes the gameplay. And I like dice placement.
Me too.
And it's $40.
That was the other thing I was just going to say, everyone. You can start out at $40. I'm really excited about that price point, okay?
And I'm hoping, for me, dice placement is fun because I roll the dice and then I decide what I want to do with what I've got in front of me. I prefer that over knowing exactly what I can do and having to agonize about like, oh, I can only do 3 actions. What are they going to be? I like going, okay, what do I have here? What can I do? That keeps me more involved than just being, like even like with Final Girl where you play your cards and then you knew like what cards you were going to kind of get back and which ones you could buy. You could really kind of plan out your next turn while you're playing your turn.
Right.
But this one is going to be a lot harder to do that, and I prefer that in the moment, what am I going to do right now? Well, can I activate my flamethrower? Yes. Or can I use this missile pod and this missile pod? That might be better. I'm going to do that.
And for a planner, it's really good because you get the excitement of not knowing too far into your future what's going to happen. But also, once you roll your dice, you're like, okay, now I can plan what I'm going to do for this turn to maximize the benefits of every single dice that I have. And so it satisfies that while also creates excitement of like what is to come in a game. So like I really like dice placement games because of that. I feel like
does it help you with your analysis paralysis so that you don't feel like you have to agonize over every
Absolutely,
single
because
thing?
I will plan like 10 turns in advance on what's going to happen in a game. And so like absolutely.
And you should never feel guilty about having another game on your shelf because it's a game you will probably get to at some point in time or it'll move on. I like to think of games almost like your Netflix queue, right? Everyone has Netflix or Prime or something. Everyone has some type of movie queue. Hey, you put it on there because you're excited about it and you will either eventually get to it or you will sell it and hopefully get another one. And that's kind of how it goes. There's been games that I've been excited about, played them a few times, then realized I haven't touched them for a couple of years and I've moved them on to get other games. And that's part of the life cycle of games. They should only be there if they make you want to play them, if they are fun and exciting for you.
It also looks like they're offering an expansion to Warp's Edge on here, which we actually have on our shelves, and I'm sad to say that I have not been able to play yet. Like, I've broken it out, I've started to set it up, but I haven't had a chance to play it. This one actually got lost in the mail, and I had to, like, re-request it and stuff, so it took a while to get to me, so I think it just hit at the wrong time. But I really want to play it.
I'm going to say something, I'm going to have, like, some more life advice for Nosferatu. No one in their life has ever said, I wish I did the dishes more when they die. I'm just going to say, I tell this to her all the time because she wants to clean all the time. No one ever in their life has been on their deathbed and been like, I wish I would have mopped the floor more. The house is the house, man.
The dishes, get them out of the sink.
Every once in a while. You got to do them at some point in time, but you can't feel guilty about enjoying your time because
you know what? People are going to throw those dishes away. Nobody cares.
Here's the deal.
After you die.
Oh, that's true. If I die, I would be much more upset that I spent my last day on Earth doing dishes than I would be if I spent my last day on Earth playing a game. I'd be like, fair. Cool. I mean, obviously I'd be dead, so I can't make that decision then. Yeah. But I'd rather die like playing a game and having fun than being like doing a dish and be like, oh, heart attack, oh, and then die. That would be really upsetting. And then if there was some type of thing after life, I'd be really mad that I died mid-dish.
Taken out while doing mid.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to die mid-dish because then you're falling in that soapy water. Your hands are greasy.
Yeah.
The paramedics try to pick you up, but you're all greasy like a pig, and you slide out and you
clean
fall.
Dishes and clean underwear.
I mean, come on, it's too much. It's too much.
Oh, okay, so Dale says do the chores first, then solo game. you can make the chores into a solo game and then prolong the solo game to play the solo game. So you can just solo game all day, okay? So with this game here, Doctor...
You remind me of like my mom being like, let's see who can clean the room the
Oh,
fastest.
gosh.
Whoever does gets $1.
Doctor, what do you think of this game? Would you back it?
Yes, I would back this
Chat,
one.
would you back this game?
I think the $40 sounds like a really good price point for me because the extra stuff you get is like a playmat and sleeves. And although I like the playmat and it looks cool thematically,
It does look really
since
cool.
we mostly play on this game topper or out on our other table, which also has the game topper mats on it, I don't need a mat on top of a mat. I'm not that level of Magic player where I need mats on top of mats on top of mats. I'm
Mats
okay.
on mats on
and
mats.
I'm actually at the point where I prefer no sleeves with my board games. I know that I might be alone in that.
Just slap your hand.
The problem is because I got this really pampered by having like nice expensive sleeves for Magic, and now if they're not like
if
they're not
nice
like
ones,
matte,
so you're like
or KMC, like hyper fits, like I just don't want them. And for board games, it is really cost prohibitive to do that. And a lot of times you'll spend $40 on sleeves for a $40 game, and that seems like anarchy to me.
Matception. Also, as a note, everyone, Warp's Edge is a fantastically produced game.
Oh yeah.
Like the game itself, the way you take out the trays and everything and have all the tokens organized in the trays and everything makes for a super easy setup for the game because everything's like all in its little rows and stuff. And so if they do the same sort of thing for this, it's just going to be a beautifully produced game and easy to set up and everything.
Renegade does a good job. I don't think I've ever gotten a Renegade product that I was upset about. There's been companies that we've got stuff where we're like, ugh, like this is pretty cheaply made. Every Renegade product I've ever gotten has always been good. Like I've never had an issue with it. Well, it might not be like as fancy as some game companies do, but it's always good. It's never been like bad.
Right, exactly. And it's even with ones where like you'll come away and you'll be like, I didn't really enjoy the game, but man, did it look freaking cool. Like, and it was just a nice game.
And the art on this is cool. And I think I'm more excited, although Warp's Edge was one that we backed, I think I'm more excited about playing this one. This is more of a theme that speaks to me. And it comes with a little Fallout expansion, and it sounds like it's going to be more expensive in retail.
Yes.
It said it was like $65, I think, in
Burn
retail.
Cycle is going to be mats on mats on mats.
Plus this one, I think, since it is the Kickstarter, is coming with like a 5th car and like a 5th driver. Stuff like little things like that, which
is why you back it on there.
Right. Can prolong how many times you play it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So $40 is good for this. I would back it if Come On didn't murder my bank account. I completely agree, Nosferatu.
So we did the Come On, but we didn't do the big pledge, did we?
No, I think it was the first or the mid or something. I don't know. I know we got the intro.
We've got a little bit more wiggle room.
May move to the mid, but that's probably about it.
We're not going Galactus, though.
No,
I'd love to do Galactus, but I know I won't have enough time with it.
This one here is a absolute back for me.
Yeah, I would 100% back this
I love the theme. Love Renegade games. Love Scott Alm's work in board games and stuff like that.
I like that there's a chart that you're rolling against, so you don't know what's going to happen with the boss.
Digging solo games and stuff right now.
Got some cool dice placement.
Like, it's good. Good price point. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this. So
the mat does look cool. I'll just use my Borderlands 3 like giant mouse pad for it instead, and then you'll just be running across.
Yeah, and the mat is not. I mean, it is good because it does section things off. It's not just for coolness. It does section things off, and we're replacing things and all sorts of stuff.
I think my biggest issue is that unless I can fit the mat in the box, it just gets to be too much. We just have so many
becomes hard.
Mats just sitting around.
Which is something that
Radlands did.
They put the mat in the box.
But then that took a game that was this big and made it much bigger. That was this big.
But I almost appreciate that just because, like...
And Flamecraft's going to have its mat in the box.
It's everything in one place,
The game trays is made where you can actually put the mat in the box with Flamecraft.
I can't put that many mats up, everyone, so...
Yeah, we're running out of places to put mats. We're going to just get rid of our carpeting and just throw mats down all over the floor.
I'm going to post pictures of me cuddling my Galactus. Yeah,
that's fair.
You take that thing with you everywhere because you bought it and you're going to show it off, okay? You just have it in your car next to you, driving like right next to you so you can go in the carpool lane, like everything, okay?
This is something that my stepmom used to say. She would say, like, you can have a $50 purse and $200 in it, or you can have a $250 purse with no money in it. And I feel like Nosferatu is the guy that's going to have the $250 purse. He's going to be carrying around with baby Galactus. Now, if we had one of those Galactus, I mean, I would make a shelf for it to put it back here. We would display it all the time because it is so awesome.
We put an ominous light underneath it to, like, light the bottom.
But we've had to have some really hard conversations because we've gotten rid of games that we even enjoyed because we have to know realistically how much time are we going to have to play this game.
How often are we going to play it and stuff. So how much are we going to get it to the table? Because we have a small house.
Is it worth all the expansions? And sometimes it's not because we switch games a lot. You like to switch games. So I love buying expansions because I'm a completionist. But with you you tend to like to move around games a lot more, where you like to play a game and play something different. Right.
A whole bunch of
But like
times.
I'll play like say like Ascension, and then I'll be like, all right, next time we play, let's add in this expansion, and then let's play it again and add in this expansion. And I'll do that in one night, but you won't. You'll play it like once, maybe twice, and then you're like, all right. And we might not get to it for a while, so by the time we get back to it, we're going back to the base game. We're not adding in the expansions, and so I'm just tired of having expansions that I don't play with. They just kind of sit there, and I'm like, dang. So I don't rush to buy expansions the same way.
Expansions we have played with? Lords of Waterdeep, what's up?
Some expansions make the game just objectively better, and I think everyone has agreed that Lords of Waterdeep's Skulls and Skullduggery, or whatever it's called, Skullport, is objectively makes the game better with the corruption.
All right, next up we have Astronites. This is by Indie Boards and Cards. This is by, this one's interesting. So the designer, one of the designers on this is Little Nick, who has done work with Aeon's End, Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
I think they had like another sort of card game under their belt or something like that, which I find really promising because this is a card game.
So I think the biggest way to sum this game up is they compare it to Aeon's End.
Yeah.
And like 5 out of 6 reviewers compare it to Aeon's End.
Aeon's End, okay.
They say it is a faster, more streamlined Aeon's End. I wish Petter was here because Petter has played Aeon's End.
Yeah.
I do not have Aeon's End.
I don't either.
Bryce, who I work with, actually bought it so we can play it together, but we haven't gotten together to play it yet. So I don't have experience with Aeon's End. It is a cooperative deck building game, which I like in general.
Yeah.
I do think you like the cooperative deck building more than I do, though. I think I like the competitive deck building more because I like making this cool combo and drawing extra cards and having extra, currency and doing extra damage against somebody, like against a real opponent versus an AI opponent.
This is for 1 to 4 players, should last about 60 minutes for this game. So this particular game here is cooperative one.
Yes.
Honestly,
I think Aeon's End is cooperative too.
Is it?
I believe.
I have not looked into this one a whole lot. And this is because as soon as they were like, oh, it's a deck building sort of game, I was like,
I'd be all over it, and then you'd be like less into it.
I'll let Doctor figure that one out.
Yeah, Petter does love Aeon's End, and I've heard good things about Aeon's End, but this is supposed to be a more streamlined version of it. And every video and quote almost always says, oh, it's like a faster Aeon's End, or oh, if you want to play Aeon's End but have it less be complicated, or oh, if you want to play Aeon's End in 30 minutes. Like, they're all compared to Aeon's End. So what does that tell me? If you like the idea of Aeon's End but haven't bought it, maybe get this instead.
Absolutely.
If you've already got a bunch of Aeon's End, this is something that you'd have to really look at to see if you need to add this to your overall collection.
That's kind of like the interesting thing too, because
it's almost like a Jaws of the Lion Gloomhaven situation, right?
Board games get better with time. So if a designer made this game and then he made another game that's similar, more often than not, the other game, the newer game, is going to be a better version of whatever the previous game is, just because they've had all this time to streamline it, and they've had people for, years have comments on what should be better, and like they've had all this data to go through and everything, and so they've had experience to make a better game,
they've had like the comments and the questions and all that stuff from like BGG, and
designers
just have more info on it.
Designers are people. They learn and they go through things, and they just get better with time because they learn their profession and skill better and what to do better and what works for them. And so the longer that a designer has been in the industry, usually you're going to get a better produced game, or at least more streamlined game, because they know what to take out and what to put in to keep things interesting versus to make things bogged down by like just stuff's happening in the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cult of the New forever, says Joe. That's the reason.
There's definitely an advantage to it sometimes, right?
Looks like dice thrown minus the dice or the thrones. I kind of thought that too, Nosferatu. Weirdly, I looked at it. That was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh, wow, it's like space dice thrown, it looks like. But that's just what it looked like.
Okay. But yeah, it does seem like it's Aeon's End. It's just streamlined, which, it makes sense based off what everyone said and what you said about the designer and everything. I think the only thing holding me back from this is that I know somebody who has Aeon's End that wants to play it with me.
Yeah.
And so until I get to try it, I don't think I feel like I need it. And I know deck builders have to really sell a deck builder to you. We only have a few. Most of the deck builders we have are actually deck builder plus, like deck builder plus area control, or deck builder plus like
I don't like
dungeon delving,
straight deck building games.
Right.
Yeah, just period.
Because you like Clank and you like the D&D one.
Tyrants of the Underdark.
Yes.
And I like Path. That's another
Path
deck
of
building
Light,
game.
yep, of
But
Light
all of
and
those
Shadow.
games have deck building plus another mechanic
Right.
that is also very important to the game.
The only deck builder we have that's just a straight builder is Shards of Infinity. And we haven't played it recently. But
Shards of Infinity is still a combat-based game.
Well, that's as close to a straight deck builder as we own.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 100%
Because
like a deck
I'm trying
builder.
to remember the other deck builder
But Shards
game.
of Infinity, well, Ascension. So
Yeah,
Ascension was made
Ascension.
first,
I was
and
like,
then Shards of Infinity came out. And Shards of Infinity is just streamlined, like right at your face,
It's
attacking
nice,
each
but
other.
I can only play Ascension so many times before I'm just like, I'm done here. I'm
Fair.
done here, everyone. Okay. But this one starts at $39, and let's see here, it goes
a
up
good price.
59. Yeah,
I'm
no,
laughing
good
at
price.
Nas saying that I think I'd like Aeon's End, just not the people that really, really like Aeon's End. Yeah, I don't know.
fair.
The only person I know who really, really likes it is Petter, and he is the worst, but not the worst.
I have to say the art looks really cool in the game, though. I wish I would have grabbed the artist's name on it because it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's futuristically fun looking. Like, I like the art.
And
in
it seems like a really easy game to back if you're at all interested in Aeon's End, for sure.
Absolutely.
I wish that I had played Aeon's End so I could compare the two and be like, oh, this looks good, or oh, no, I don't know if this is the same, or oh, they're losing this really important part. I just don't have that experience.
Chat, are you backing this game, Doctor?
No, I don't think I'm going to back it, like I said, because I know somebody who has Aeon's End that wants to play it with me, and I know that you and I do not play a lot of just straight deck building games.
I think, though, it's a really fun one if you are interested in those things to get into, because I will not be backing this game because it is a deck building game, and those are not my style of games.
I have to lead the charge on these if we want to get them.
Absolutely. So this was an insta-back for me, but I was a fan of Aeon's End. See? Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, if you are, you should probably back it.
The nice thing about board games is sometimes you can like give yourself a purposeful blind spot where you're like, as long as I never play Marvel Champions, I won't feel like I'm missing out on them. Because once you do,
I know, right?
you're like, I gotta get them all.
I gotta get all these.
What I've done is with Marvel Champions is I have a few. I purposely stopped. I unsubscribed from the newsletter I was doing that was telling me about all the new expansions for it. Because I kept buying expansions. I was like, wait. I'm like, just don't know. So when someone tells me, oh, have you seen the Gamora's out? Or, oh, have you seen the Black Widow's out? I'm like, no, I haven't. And I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
We did that with Catan. We got the Star Trek version. It was Star Trek, right? Yeah, it was Star Trek. And because specifically there was like no expansions at the time for it. And so it was like, haha, now we won't have to get a million expansions for this game because it's not the actual Catan, right?
Right. There is some advantage to just getting, oh, this is I mean, and that's kind of why some people went to like Ascension or the style of game is like, because it gives you like that kind of Magic the Gathering feeling, but it's not an endless supply of expansions that you have to worry about. This is the game.
That concept is why Pokemon made billions.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Next up, we have Deep Rock Galactic. Let me play the thing here. This is by Mood Publishing. This is actually based off of a video game where you're basically some dwarves, you're going in tunnels, you're murderizing a bunch of creatures and stuff like that because you got to get some mining done. Got to get your space mining done. Wait, these are like space dwarves mining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have not played the video game.
Even in space, dwarves got to mine. Even in space.
Dwarves got to mine.
They mine, they brew, and they can blacksmith. That's it.
That's all the things.
They can brew, they can smith, and they can mine. That's the three things the dwarves are known for.
I'm sure one of these are women too, right? Because they're dwarves and you can't tell if they're men or women,
I don't
right?
know.
So one of them has to be a woman, right?
It could be. They're interesting characters, though, like, because you got a scout, you've got the gunner, which, of course, you know, I'm really drawn to the gunner. You got the driller who just drills everything, the engineer, who you hope is the smart one.
Yeah.
You hope.
If not, you're just like, man, we got the dud engineer.
So here's what's interesting about this one. So after watching this, I got excited enough about it, kind of like I did for Darkest Dungeon, that I went to look to find it on my PlayStation.
Yes.
And I realized I already downloaded this. This was already
Yeah.
like a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 monthly, game that you can download. I forget what they call that Game Pass thing they have, where it's like every month you can download like 2 or 3 games. So I already have it on my PlayStation, and I downloaded it today because I was like, I want to play this because it's a cooperative dungeon delving game that's based around mining and fighting these like alien hordes basically in order to mine. You use all these materials to power up your weapons and stuff. It's a very much a skirmishy style game, right? Like it doesn't have like this intense campaign as much. I think it's got more of a, you go in there, you set it up, this is the scenario, you go in there, you clear out the bad guys, you try to mine stuff, you level up your character and move on.
And plus they have
like
a swarming sort of ability too. So like the swarm builds up and then you got to like get cards and stuff like that for whenever the swarm drops. So
there
like
you go,
it
Josh.
gets more intense as you go.
Josh said that he was just playing the video game and was like, man, this is a good board game.
Good.
So here's the thing. I'm usually pretty leery about video game IPs because they usually have to kind of dumb things down in order to make it to a board game, or it becomes so convoluted that it's hard to play because of it. This looks like it's still easy to play. You got your weapon, you got your secondary weapon, you've got your throwable. You go in, you find a token, you stand by it, you flip it over, see what it is. Oh, it's something I can mine. You roll the mining dice. Cool, I mined it. What did I get? Oh, I got some gold. Sweet, I throw that in my little loot box. You go around the corner, you're like, here's some bad guys. I can roll 3 dice. Oh, I got 2 bullets. Boom, those guys are dead. Move on. Like it seems, but not in a way that makes it feel easy. I feel like it's still going to have strategy to it. It makes me feel like it's more like a Reichbusters or something. Of course, Reichbusters had the silent mode and then like the active mode where everything's going all crazy stuff. This makes me feel like it is a lighter entry into the game that you can get into and play and just have a good time and not feel stressed about every move you're going. You're going in there, kind of like the difference of like Diablo versus like Skyrim, right? Does that make sense? Because like Skyrim is like, you've got to really think about like what kind of things you want to do. You can spend a bunch of time leveling up your pickpocketing or your sneak to get this like perfect like class combo you want to do. Where with something like Diablo, you're like, woo, lasers, or not lasers, but you know, demon bolts or whatever it is you're doing, like fireballs. It's just more like you play one for fun, where the other one is more like this in-depth experience. I feel like this is kind of goes more like, this is something you gotta just play for fun.
Okay, so Nosferatu says, yeah, this will not be my first space game. Looks fun, but I don't think I could play more than 2 rounds without getting bored. So I'm going to tell you all something about this. The designer for this game also designed Champions of Midgard.
Oh, okay. I like Champions of Midgard a lot.
I know you do.
Do you know that also the team that did this, although they look like they are new, they also were part of Rise of Necromancers.
Oh, maybe some new knowledge that you all might not have had there with this one.
So there's more to it than I think most people know, because
most
of the stuff that they've created. And when I say first-time creator, they mostly created other projects. They weren't like just straight board game projects. They look more like they were RPG or fantasy novel based. Their other projects, but they actually have. If you go down towards the bottom, it talks a little bit about what else Mood Publishing has done, and so they have been like linked up with other projects. I don't know. I think this, if it's kind of more like there's a big difference between Champions of Midgard versus playing, say something like Tainted Grail. You go into it with different expectations. If this is like put it out on the table and play it once, and then have a good time with it, and then move on to another game, that's great. I kind of want that because right now we've got these long chapter-based legacy games where every single time it's a big deal. Even like Reichbusters was like such a heavy rule set to get into it that we'd have to relearn it just to play it again. And then every chapter got harder and more competitive. Where I feel like this, you could just go in and roll some dice and have a really good time.
That's hilarious. Studio Lanniston says, also, if you get this board game version, you don't have to worry about the network issues or playing with as many strangers. You can still get people randomly yelling in the background,
That's
though.
Fair. That's fair. Roll better, noob! There's nothing worse than when your kid heckles you from the other room. I would roll it with 2 hands. Like, all right, you jerk.
So the starting price on this game here is about $74.
Which isn't bad.
The big one is the $126 on this here.
That one's the one that comes with the miniatures for the bad guys.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And it comes with the deluxe comes with other cool stuff too. Like you get the little robot mine thing that you put stuff into. Actually has like a little lid you lift up and you throw it in there and it sits on the board and you get like the stalagmites and you just get like a lot more. And then the next level up gives you an expansion, the goo from above, I think, or something like that. Oh, that's the thing. Go back up a little bit. Look at that.
Oh, okay, and then it lifts off here
Yeah,
and everything.
and you put your actual loot in there. Remember how much fun we had with the stupid little chest in Valor and Villainy?
Yeah.
And it was just a little cardboard, pressed together chest, and you putting little stuff in there? Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so thing with this here, of course, with a lot of big Kickstarter games like this, if you are not used to backing Kickstarter games, this is the way to get it because you get all these extra little things that you end up getting.
Because a lot of the stuff like the first player markers, like that mine thing I was talking about, they're being upgraded in this.
Absolutely.
Gold nuggets instead of just little plastic yellow crystals.
Absolutely. So this is how you're going to enjoy the game.
You can drop a sentry gun in this game. You can just straight up drop a sentry gun in this game to shoot at stuff. Do you know how much I love sentry guns? The only game I think that even held a candle to GoldenEye was Perfect Dark because you had that stupid laptop gun that you could throw on the wall and it would stick there, and then when someone comes running around the corner, it'd be like, and it'd light them up. Oh, I love that gun so much. I'd go out of my way to get that every time.
Let's see, our Bye. How often do you want to drag out a game as long as Tainted Grail? I'm okay with a quick pew-pew game,
Yeah, and I think
right?
this will fall into a nice niche where it's still going to be enjoyable, but it is a quicker pew-pew game versus something that's like, man, I'm going to play this thing. We better play it 3 or 4 chapters. If I get out Tainted Grail, we're playing it like 3 or 4 sessions. We're not going to just play one session and put it away, right? It's a game that you feel like you got to leave that on your table or something like this, where I feel like this is when you can get out, play it, and then put it back away and not feel bad about it.
Oh, Jim, you're late. We're right at the end part of this. We're sad.
Perfect Dark was so fetch. Thank you, TC. I agree. Perfect Dark was like so much fun. The idea of getting guns that you could swap into a different gun, like, all right, now I'm an assault rifle, and then, oh, look, now I'm a grenade launcher. It was amazing. I loved it.
So, chat, are you backing this game? Doctor, what do you think?
Yes, I want this at the mid-level, the one that comes with extra miniatures, because I feel like the stalagmites, the miniatures, the little guy that you get to put the stuff in, the little carrier thing, I think that looks really cool. That's actually, you messed up by telling me Champions of Vanguard. It makes me want it more. This is the game I was most excited about. Because it's got like a kind of like bunch of dwarves fighting a bunch of Zerg while they're mining in this kind of cool world where you're like rolling die, trying to survive, and you're like blowing them up with dynamite and Gatling guns and stuff. It's just exactly what I want to do in real life. I mean, in a game.
Here's the thing for me. I'm usually leery about games that come from video games because I'm like, oh, is it going to be too easy? Like, am I not going to like it? Is it going to be more based on just dice rolling and stuff like that? This game has a lot of the mechanics I do really, really enjoy in these style of games where you run into some place and you're kind of just trying to clear the board, wreck everybody, and then like run out. I love all of that stuff. Okay? It wasn't until I got to the designer when I was like, okay, I'm excited. I'm excited now. What do you got going on over here?
We got the puppy trying to play with the kitty.
It's the puppy face-off with the kitty.
Yeah. He's low, the cat's high, she's smacking him. It's fine.
So it wasn't
She doesn't
until
go claws out.
I got to the designer that I was like, okay, they took enough time and effort to go back through and get somebody who I feel like is going to do a good job in making this game.
They kind of missed the boat on like letting people know, because I didn't see a bunch of ads about this one. Like usually when a video game one comes out, like when Witcher came out, stuff, I saw ads for like
all
months.
Sorts of stuff. Yeah,
they're
still doing good though.
Everywhere, and it is. It's like a $2 million project. Yeah. I was surprised I didn't see more ads, and I was surprised that they didn't put that stuff up front. But I think that's because the game was kind of like an indie game that did pretty well, and so I think they thought that was enough to sell it. I didn't see a lot on the board game sites and everything, and maybe that's because I haven't been on them enough lately. I don't know, but I didn't see as much pre-marketing as I would have thought. I think this could have done better. I think this is going to be one of those games that will do well, and then I think when they do a second version, it'll blow up.
Oh yeah. So Dale says,
"I'm like a really big one.
Trying to remain strong, but upgraded stuff is so pretty." I know, right?
Yeah. And I could probably skip the goo from Beyond just because, once again, it's an expansion, so I have to make sure I play this enough to actually, or goo from above, enough to actually justify wanting to play against this extra set of bad guys. But yeah, this gives me like such a Starship Troopers type of like, the only good bug is a dead bug vibe that I just really want to go out there and Gatling gun bugs in the face.
Absolutely.
And when you go in, it's interesting because they have like a scan that you do, and that tells you where some of the bugs are, and where some of the, I don't even know if they're bugs, some of the aliens are, and some of the things are. But there's also things that you don't discover until you get close to them. Like there's whole pathways that you don't get to see until you go and you activate them. Then it flips over, and then they spawn bad guys and stuff. So there is still some of that mystery of like, you going in somewhere, and then all of a sudden you open the door, and you're like, oh crap, this was a mistake type of situation. And you can have bosses that can spawn like extra stuff out there. Like you can spawn extra monsters and everything. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited as well. So Jolly Lumpy says, pass on all of them this week. Jim says, thanks, Studio. Let's hear, Deep Rock Galactic for Studio Lanniston.
Yes.
So, it is time.
I do have some
bug anger. Doesn't everybody battle cry?
Here's the thing. I don't kill bugs in real life. I try to like let them out. But like in games, I want them dead. That's what I always liked about with like Destiny and stuff, because when my kid would try to watch me play like a more like modern warfare style game, I was always like, you can't watch this. This is a shooting game.
Yeah.
But playing Destiny, you're shooting aliens.
It's aliens.
That's
it's different. And then you slowly realize that you're kind of the bad guy. So.
Yeah.
And then you start questioning everything.
I mean, if the Forsaken are eating credits, like,
and then you're like giving them credits.
If they're eating Glimmer and then I'm taking them and using them for currency, I feel like I'm stealing their food. That might be an issue.
And they straight up just like don't get as big anymore and don't have like this right like glands and stuff to produce everything because they haven't gotten big enough.
My bad.
Like, it's bad, everyone. It's real bad.
Listen, if aliens came to our planet and they like only ate diamonds, is it our fault that we don't want to give up our diamonds? I don't think so. It's the aliens' fault. We should kill them all and let their alien gods sort it out.
So, out of all the games that you've seen today,
yes,
and chat, out of all the games that you've seen / are backing and stuff like that, what is your number one that you are backing right now, have to back, pushing that button, Doctor?
Deep Rock Galactic. I think this is the one I'm most excited about for sure. I will play the other one, the Wreckland Run. Okay. But I feel like this is the one that we're going to want to play on channel, get excited about, get hyped for, have a blast with, and invite friends to play with. Where with the Wreckland Run, it'll be fun, but it is still a solo experience, which I tend to lean towards games that I can play with more people if I want to.
Right. Right. So Studio Lanniston says this week I'm at a $1 for Kingdoms of Forlorn. And that's my only project I'm really interested in. Oh, yeah. So there's some other really fantastic projects out there.
Kingdoms Forlorn was one of the 7, actually. It's on the list.
One of the 7 of the 5 of the 4.
It's one of the 7. But it had an extra week on it. It has like 15 days left on it. So I wanted to make sure we cover the ones that were going to end quickest.
And Studio Lanniston says, Wreckland Run I'd grab in retail. Absolutely. So
what would you pay more to get it in retail?
Well, I mean, $40 is hard to pass up.
Oh, Earth. Earth is also on my list. It's also one of the 7. There's some good games. It was tough to pick.
So.
Yeah, which one are you most excited about, and why is it Deep Rock Galactic?
This is tough because I am really excited about Wreckland Run and Deep Rock Galactic both.
Here's what we can do.
So
we get the base level of Wreckland Run, which is $40 because it doesn't come with the playmat, and then we get the mid level of this one, which doesn't come with the expansion. And then we're just spending like $200.
Yeah, it's fine.
just $200. That's no big deal.
I think I would go with Deep Rock Galactic, and that is just because a solo game is still a solo experience, and I'm banking by when this will be out, we will have actual friends we'll be playing with.
Yeah, regularly, for sure.
Regularly. So I'm gonna cross my fingers on that, and I really like these style of games where everyone, I love tactical games so much, with little hexes and squares and all sorts of stuff, and you run in there and you punch stuff and kick stuff.
And I like a game that has Gatling guns and alien bugs to shoot. Yes, this is the end of the stream. This is the very end of the stream right now.
You absolutely did. So sorry. So
this is the one then.
Deep Rock Galactic, yeah.
Look, one of my favorite previews. I've had so much fun. Mark Street, the Dice Tower.
You can't trust Mark Street, okay?
He does a lot of previews. For sure.
I love Mark Street, but there's some people that they're too kind, and Mark is too kind to everybody, okay?
Fair. Yeah, I think Deep Rock Galactic is definitely going to be the most interesting one. And if it really does end up becoming a game where I can just invite people to play, and like have them sit down for the night will be fun, because all those other games like Gloomhaven,
that's the other thing, yeah,
and Tainted Grail and all those other ones we have like Clank Legacy and Pandemic Legacy. We play those 2-player because we can never find a group that will consistently be able to come and play it on the schedule we want to play it on.
That's the thing. How many times do you go into playing one of those games like a Gloomhaven or something, and you're like always reteaching the game, and then like
you never get far in it because of it.
Exactly. You can't actually go through the storyline because you're always having to like come back to the beginning. With this one here, you don't have that. You just like have your little scenario thing, you run through it, and it doesn't really even matter where you start. You could probably, somebody who already knows the game, you could talk to them about it, or you could start in the middle of something with somebody, and it doesn't matter, and I like that.
Plus, I would say about most of our friends are like dwarf fans. Like, we have a lot of friends that are into dwarves. Yeah. I'm sure Greg is an elf, but like Alex, John, they're all dwarves.
All fans of, it is true. Dwarves are very popular. They're a very popular race of beings, of fantasy beings, okay? So, if you are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and give this video a like. Why not go ahead and subscribe? Doctor, what else we got planned?
What else we have planned? I don't know. I don't know what we have planned for the rest of the week. I mean, it's Friday.
We have a lot of, I don't know, planned. I just got tail in my eye.
Right in your eyeball.
God. It was not good. It was not good.
That's what happens when you teach your cat how to be a parrot. Be a cat. Stop being a bird.
I would like to stream some more Gloomhaven because that's been fantastic, and I've been really enjoying that. There's been some people that are like, man, stream board games. And you know what? I would love to stream some board games, but why don't you go ahead and come on over and teach me the rules? Because I don't have a lot of time right now because the Glory Mom is still a little sick, so... We got lots of stuff going on.
So for anybody who's not aware, without getting too much into details, a lot of our weekend time, which we usually use to learn games and so that we can play them during the week,
because we have to learn them and then play them before we play them on stream.
Right, which has been more dedicated to your mother, my mother-in-law.
Absolutely.
Because she's got a chronic illness and she needs a lot of help around the house right now more than ever before.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's why our schedule's been kind of all over the place.
Janky since October and stuff like that. So we're halfway through everything with the Glory Mom, so we're hoping within like the next 3 months that'll clear up and then we'll be back to our normal schedule. But we are looking to play games. We want to play Nemesis here soon. I'm hoping to get the rules read for that this weekend, and plenty more Gloomhaven because I've really been enjoying that. And you can actually, there's a link for our Discord in the bottom, and thank you so much, Lazy Fox, for subscribing. There's a link to Discord in the bottom of the YouTube comments and stuff like that, and on the Facebook comments. And you can vote on where we're going in Gloomhaven.
Right, because we had like the grotto we found, we've got the next mission, and there's like another
because there's all these little quests where you can go on, and so we're going to have everybody vote on which quests we go on, so you get to kind of lead where we're going, okay?
Which is nice, because we haven't played super far into Gloomhaven, so we don't know where we're going at this point. We played more Jaws of the Lion than this one.
I got the tail in the mouth today.
Right in the middle of a meeting. That is tough.
Right in the mouth. It's terrible. It's dry. The hair stays in your mouth. It's not good. It's not good.
Not good. And let us know what games you're going to back, if you're going to back any, or if it's just Marvel Zombicide, because, like, I mean, come on, it's Marvel Zombicide, that's
so
fair.
much money, just like, I don't have any more. I don't. Where's my money?
That's true.
Please, could I have some more?
It's been good because there was a couple months where we didn't super back Kickstarters, but then I think we backed 1 or 2 from the last time we did it 2 weeks ago, and now we're gonna back probably 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it though.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate all of your comments and everything while we're doing Kickstarters. We hope to be back next week with 4 brand new Kickstarters to talk about, and we will see all of you later. Bye.